Throughout history and across disciplines, people have pondered the nature of reality, with surprising convergences between spiritual traditions and modern science. Insights from quantum physics that are consistent with ancient spiritual teachings, especially those of Buddhism, have been emerging during the last 100 years. They both point to a deeper, more enigmatic foundation of existence from which our seemingly solid and real world is actually a projection. All things are profoundly interrelated, and the mysterious role of human consciousness in creating reality is illuminated by this interaction between science and spirituality. Emptiness has long been posited as the basis of existence in Buddhist philosophy. This nothingness is not a lack or void, but rather a condition of boundless potential from which all phenomena emerge and resurface. Forms, sounds, ideas, and feelings are all believed to originate from this foundation and are intrinsically related. The foundation of the cosmos is a quantum field, a condition of boundless potential from which all energy and matter originate, according to quantum physics. Because of these remarkable similarities, we feel compelled to delve more deeply into the nature of reality and the processes by which it comes to pass. Think of a dream as a starting point for comprehending this interaction. Any number of things, including people, gorillas, and other dangerous animals, can appear in a vivid dream. These things seem very real in the dream. However, when one awakens, they come to the realization that their dream consciousness created the dream world, including the gorilla, the setting, and even their own body. Although the dream itself was not real, the dream state of consciousness that made it possible was. Similarly, a seemingly meaningless piece of paper actually has limitless expressive potential. It can contain any story, diagram, or symbol. Emptiness or pure potentiality can give birth to apparent forms, as both the dream and the blank paper show. There is an alternative view of matter put forth by quantum physics. There are two separate manifestations of matter in the universe, particles and waves. It is possible to measure and observe particles because they are discrete, localized entities. Whereas waves exist both everywhere and nowhere at the same time, they stand for an endless state of possibility. What physicists mean when they talk about wave-particle duality is that it encompasses the two sides of matter. For example, there is an infinite number of ways to view a single orange, as a physical, localized particle and as a wave propagating across space and time. The famous double-slit experiment has confirmed time and time again the mysterious character of wave-particle duality. To conduct this experiment, two slits are used to fire quantum particles. Upon observation, these particles exhibit their characteristic behavior, manifesting as distinct patterns on the screen of a detector. Nevertheless, in their unobserved state, they exhibit wave-like behavior, generating an interference pattern that suggests an endless potential. This shocking discovery showed that whether the particles seem as infinite, non-local waves or finite, localized forms depends on the observer. That is to say, just like the Buddhist doctrine states, the mind creates the world. This finding echoes the idea that consciousness actively shapes the reality it perceives. Beyond the actions of subatomic particles, quantum mechanics has far-reaching consequences. The idea of the quantum field, an invisible and all-pervasive field from which all particles originate, is central to quantum theory. Particles are like ocean waves. They are an expression of the quantum field in motion rather than an independent entity. Beyond space and time, the quantum field exists only as a condition of unadulterated potential. The idea that all phenomena are interdependent and do not possess any inherent existence is taught by the Buddhist doctrine of dependent arising, which is reflected here. There is a web of interdependence that binds all parts of reality together, just as particles are bound together in the quantum field. One striking example of this interdependence is the quantum entanglement phenomenon. Any change to one particle's properties instantly impacts the other when they become entangled, regardless of the distance between them. Despite the apparent disconnection of the cosmos, this connection remains even across enormous distances, pointing to an underlying deep unity. The astonishing fact that all particles are inherently entangled serves as further evidence of the unity of existence, given that the Big Bang was the origin of all matter in the universe. Another point of intersection between quantum mechanics and spirituality is the influence of human consciousness on the physical world. The mind is considered the primary agent in the creation of reality, according to Buddhist teachings. As a dreamer builds a dream, so too do our perceptions, thoughts, and desires shape our experience of reality, according to the teachings of the Buddha. The findings of contemporary quantum physics and neuroscience are congruent. One of the forefathers of quantum mechanics, Werner Heisenberg, noted that particles' behavior changes when measured. He was known to say, "What we are observing is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning." This realization highlights how reality is like a dream. Our perception of the world is influenced by our own consciousness. This idea is brought to life by the results of the double-slit experiment. When we look at particles, we see them as separate, localized objects. They are like unfathomable waves of potential when no one is looking. This is in line with the Buddhist teaching that the world's apparent solidity is an illusion produced by the mind. That is, that our current understanding of reality is an invention of observation and measurement. The absence of observation reduces reality to an empty space or unrealized possibility. These results cast doubt on long-held beliefs about identity and solidity. Space makes up nearly all of an atom, the fundamental unit of matter. Atoms' mutually attractive forces give the impression of solidity. As an example, one does not physically touch a chair while sitting in it. On the contrary, the attraction between your body's atoms and the chair's atoms is what actually causes you to feel touched. Despite its enigmatic nature, this repulsive force is accountable for creating the perception of a real physical world. Understanding reality as a dynamic interaction of energy and emptiness is facilitated by acknowledging this illusion. The self is also redefined by this realization. The self is not an immutable thing, but rather a temporary creation of interconnected processes, according to Buddhist teachings. Similarly, the laws of quantum physics show that the things we take for granted as independent entities are really just different manifestations of the same fundamental field. Both viewpoints encourage a major mental change from viewing things as static and separate to seeing them as dynamic and interdependent, and in the end, devoid of any inherent reality. A deeper understanding of life is revealed by the meeting point of spirituality and quantum physics. It shows a universe that is both static and ever-changing, where space is both a constant and a source of endless potential. It invites us to welcome the enigma and interdependence of everything, while forcing us to reevaluate our presumptions about the world. By delving into these concepts, we get nearer to comprehending the deep oneness of existence, the oneness that invites us to perceive ourselves and the world differently, surpassing the limitations of science and religion.